Ayo Dosunmu just had a legacy game, and with that, the Nuggets are now on the brink of elimination and having to make some very tough decisions this offseason. For the Nuggets, Jokic getting himself going early was a must. It was very concerning early on to see Aaron Gordon's shots not falling in a must-win game. He did miss Game 3, obviously. They tried to get him going early in Game 4 last night. It didn't work. Again, similar to Game 3, they really couldn't get any great offense going. In the first quarter, it was looking better. Jokic was keeping them afloat for the most part. He's being very aggressive out the gates, which was similar to what we saw in Game 3, but unlike Game 3, he was actually shooting it well tonight, at least initially. That Gobert matchup, it looked like Jokic was taking control back in. As the game went on, we did see it even out. Jokic's shots stopped falling as much. All of his teammates really could not hit their shots at a high clip as well. So we saw the Nuggets fall victim to a lot of these same mistakes they made in Game 3. And they did ultimately open it up for Minnesota to take a Game 4 win from them, even with DiVincenzo tearing his Achilles a minute into the game and not playing at all in that second half. So that is a very bad loss for the Nuggets in a must-win game. Minnesota was seeing resistance in the paint early. Part of it was just bad shooting from them to start the game, but some of the looks were also much worse than what they were used to seeing from these past two games. It was a tight game heading into halftime, due in large part to that. The Nuggets had largely contained the Wolves' attacks in the paint, and the bench had been carrying Minnesota. They simply hadn't seen any production from the starters. And then the Nuggets were seeing production from everybody on the floor, albeit not to the level you would want with Aaron Gordon in particular. That first half was by far the best Jokic has looked all series. And again, that matchup with Rudy, it did look like it was turning back into his favor for the long term. He wasn't just hitting his shots, but he was creating open looks for the guys around him and playmaking at a similar clip to what we're used to seeing from him. Something we saw glimpses of last night and that I would like to see a lot more of in Game 5 was the Nuggets stealing a page from Minnesota's book and playing with pace with great results. It was leading to the easiest looks they'd had all series, and for as much as Denver's defense is criticized at times, much of it obviously deserved. The Wolves also do not have a great transition defense and can be picked apart without too much difficulty by teams that are intentional about keeping an up-tempo style of play. The Wolves responded exactly how they needed to in the third. Nothing was easy for Denver, and Ayo Dosunmu is establishing himself as the steal of this trade deadline with how important he's become to Minnesota, especially again in a game with Ant and DiVincenzo out, where the Wolves had a chance to all but eliminate the Nuggets, and he was not willing to miss out on that opportunity. Jokic was looking flustered in the fourth. I thought that he had found his rhythm, but evidently something is still missing because he just doesn't look how he usually does at all. That was a complete and utter second half collapse for the Nuggets against a Wolves team that was without his start player and starting point guard. Ayo having a 40-point game of a similar caliber to SGA's on the same day is wild, and he took the reins for a Minnesota team that was otherwise going to have issues finding his offensive stride with none of the healthy starters willing to step up in that way. The Nuggets right now as a team look completely lost and like they've completely forgotten their identity. All signs point to this being over in 5, which after how great they looked in Game 1 is nothing short of a complete and utter disappointment for a team that's now about to fail to advance past the second round for 3 years in a row since winning the title. This is by far the worst they've looked in the playoffs over these past 3 seasons, with it not even taking 7 games for them to be dispatched this time, and it happening in round 1. They do have some very difficult decisions to make in the offseason because this Nuggets team is simply not built to win as currently constructed.
And that'll do it. It ends with some bad blood, but that won't overshadow